Good evening, everybody. This is Dr. Rao. I hope you are all doing well. I have been working with some of my books and courses and newsletters and all that all afternoon, and they have become pretty interesting and very engaging. And using the artificial intelligence tools helping me enormously. Uh, I think I'm going to do a class on some of the tools I'm using. Ivy, how are you? Good evening, Ivy. How are you?
Evening. I end up on the stage. Did you just open the room?
Yeah. That's okay. I just opened it, and I'm just introducing myself. I didn't realize the mic was, you know, muted, so I kind of opened it. I was speaking, but I saw you. Then I said hello. You didn't respond. Then I saw, oh, I did not, take out the microphone. Anyway, I was telling them I was doing all work with the books, with the courses, with the blogs, and everything that I was doing all afternoon. But then I was using some of the AI tools, and I was saying maybe I should do a class on that with some people who are not into it, got into it. I got pretty deep into this. So, that's one of
the chat GPT thing.
Yeah, not only that, but so many other things. There is a relevant page, there is a chat, org, so many other tools are there. And then this chat GPT is incorporated into other things too, like a Chrome, like a Bing, like, so many other tools, Notion, so many things are there. So, but beyond that, Meta, robotics, and so a chip in the brain, all those things. Interest me those topics. I'm not for the chip in the brain anyway. So people are talking about that. I think
that is crazy.
Yeah. You know what the argument is? They say because this is all written by the algorithms, and now you see the EMRs in the hospital algorithms. They want to run the medicine like that. And you go to a company, they're all run by the algorithms. So pretty soon we know already we are driven by the algorithms, and they are envisioning a point when algorithms are dominant, are going to be dominant. And then to reverse that, these people's solution is to put in a chip that is going to override the algorithm, dictate its own. Then, as a human being, you lose who you are completely, and then that's not good, I think. So that's what they were talking about. I was not very pleased with that kind of thing. So there is
I don't know. I don't think you can transfer your consciousness to
no.
a card.
No, but what they're saying is even the personality, the ego that with which people identify themselves with, that's going to be replaced by another artificial personality. It's not going to be conscious ever, but it is going to be, giving you all sorts of instructions, overriding your thinking. So that's what they were talking about.
Yeah, I was testing a few chat GPT. I think one or two of the chat GPT. Every day is different.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's very good. Sometimes it is really stupid. Yeah. Sometimes he keep giving wrong information. It's always a different one. It's never the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that, you remember we were talking about Dr. Bohm and J. Krishnamurti,
Yeah.
The way the events happened was Dr. Bohm was the physicist, and he had this question about observer and observed, right? But then he found Krishnamurti's writings on that, and then he was influenced by it, and then he came, and then he started from the beginning, and the way Krishnamurti took him from the nothingness to nothingness, that was very evident that obviously Bohm was more like a a student in front of Krishnamurti, right? That was the fact. Because I knew the whole story, whole what happened and all that. But then they become very good friends. They produced tremendous amount of talks and all that. But then this chat GPT reports like Krishnamurti was influenced by Bohm and then he put it. Certainly that doesn't get what it is involved, you know. So that's very blatantly evident to me that is a mistake. The facts what were there. But then he wrote some things about other people too that happened. So I remember all those mistakes. You know what? You give a prompt, it gives you one answer, and you give a different words in the same prompt, it gives you a completely different answer. That was also I've noticed it, and it seems they're working on that. Mostly it is accurate, but then sometimes it can be off of it, and then it learns from the mistakes. That's why as you go along into a couple of years, it will correct its own mistakes. That was there too. So a very fascinating phase of human history we're going through, Ivy, right now.
Yeah, it cost me over £100, right?
Yeah.
Because every time they give you like I don't know how many to test it, and then they will come up with like 3 days, and then you got 3 days free, and then they will start charging you.
Yeah.
Every time it's fraud. They charge you a lump sum of £70.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
They charge me, yes.
Yeah.
I request Apple to refund me the money. I say I don't want the app. The app is really unable to use quite a lot of it. Repeatedly making mistakes. I keep feeding him, prompting with the correct information.
Yeah.
And it keep coming back. Mistake.
Yeah.
I keep telling it to correct it. This is the new information.
What it is, Ivy, this quest of even intellectual investigation or much deeper investigation, if that should not stop, because people are approaching it like I'm going to get all the answers from that. No, that is a mistake. What it is you have worked with your own intellect or with your own intuition or with your self-inquiry, what you have done, then you want a kind of enhancement of that, then you can use ChatGPT with the power of all that computing, all those years of knowledge and everything, and the ability to put them together very quickly. That means whatever you are, it will enhance you. So I hope people will not stop taking it as though like a Google. Oh, wherever I want to go there. See, what one time you remember? I remember when we were kids and all that, we remembered most of the telephone numbers of everybody. That is my mom's or whatever. So everybody's telephone numbers were listed in the telephone book, but we also tried to remember them and then call them accurately. Now, one of my friends met me in Chicago in a medical conference, and I was talked to him this afternoon, and we had lunch, and then he went, and then he was worried about his phone lost or something. Then he took somebody's phone, but he doesn't remember his own wife's number, because it is in the phone, always is clicking on the face, and then it is coming right now. He doesn't even know her number. So he was in deep trouble because he's from Michigan, and then he doesn't know what to do because everything is in that phone, and then he was quite worried. Then I said, see what kind of plight we are putting ourselves because of the too much reliance on the technology, right?
Yeah, too much.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things I argued all the time is the efficacy, the power we have with the sharpness of the mind, we are in the danger of losing it because we kind of become mechanical. We kind of relegate everything to the artificial intelligence to provide us answers quickly. Rather, we will be spoiled. So that's why this kind of cognitive capacity will be enhanced by chat gpt, provided you provide the questions from your own thought, from your own investigations and all that, so that's what I am telling people also. Don't be just like lazy just to put a prompt and get all the answers. Don't look for the answers from there. Look for the enhancement of your own answers that were true because of the investigation or research, whatever it is, and then use that one. Then it will be better. So there's a way. I think it will evolve into what are the good ways to use this technology, and what are the ways we should be away from it, and then what if this also becomes conscious? What happens? Machine learning, right? It is going on, learning on its own, and then because you don't strive to learn something or get answers, will you lose your intellectual efficacy and sharpness? That's the concern.
Yeah, and then you start thinking agilely.
Yeah, that's
they
what
become too dependent.
Yes, that's why they want to put a chip in there so that we would. And I said that is radical because what if you go to a swimming pool and you get electrocuted? Those doubts are there. And then suppose it goes out of whack, then you are in big trouble, right? Because it is in your body. See, I was giving a lecture in 2008 or 9 when I was showing them what is the future going to be with robotics and also with these devices. And I had a slide that showed 110 devices from head to toe that people are using at the time for something or other, you know. And that was really crazy. 110 devices, Ivy, is like from the ear, from the retina, from the tongue also. So many things are there. Then I showed them this is going to be the future. Already they were existing in one form or other. People are using them. So we were kind of very annoyed by looking at so many, because some of the older people, they don't want to hear the hearing aid also, they don't want to wear it because that's a foreign thing, we don't want to wear it. But now everybody become a bionic man or woman, with so many things implanted. And that should not be with the mind. That's my thinking. You should not lose your natural intelligence at any cost. Actually, that will grow if you use it more. See, neuroplasticity, right? The more you use it, the more you create the new brain. So this kind of delegation to the chat gpt is solving all the problems, and we don't have to think about it. That's only in mundane things maybe okay, but in creativity activities I think it's not good.
No, I mean, is it helping you to write? If you like, you have to, a lot to write. Like I have to write a lot of emails.
Yeah.
It's helping me to write emails and reply to emails. Yeah.
The mundane things are okay, but what I'm saying is something you want to create. You want to write a poem, for example. You want to describe something very nice in the nature. And those things you need your human depth and perception, and then out of that comes what you experience will come out, right? The poetry, the songwriting, and all that. That kind of thing cannot be relegated to that. They are giving you that to write the poems and all that, and then they're enjoying. But then word construction, the just struggling with getting the rhymes and all those things are, I think, very human. And those poets who do that, we can look at them. They are very, very immersed in whatever they're doing, and then it's wonderful to watch that creativity, that capacity to create. By the way, this mind calming is also important in this, because if you think all junk, if you focus on things that are not really like the fights that we see in these social media rooms, arguing and trying to establish their viewpoint is right, and that is very badly harmful to the brain, because you are kind of losing your temper, and then your blood pressure will go up, and then you will have that stress hormone one day. Other way is this harmony between people also will go away, you know. So this calming, being calm in the presence of somebody arguing, I think that's difficult. The more you kind of irritate the other person, the more he will be irritated, and then next time he'll break it, you know. So our friends nowadays, they are all being quiet and investigating together, or arguing with each other.
I don't know. I think it's because we are quite privileged, you know, right? Instant gratification. Not everyone has this personality.
Yeah.
I find that they have very little tolerance these days. They're just very angry, reactive.
Yeah. Actually, we don't have to be approved by anybody, because you know what is truth in your own inner self, you know. So no need to have the validation or approval by somebody else, you know. You will know what is right and what is not. If you are doing the right thing, I think that's good, you know. So that's why I like this ancient thing is dialogue versus argument. We don't want to argue, but we want to have a dialogue in the realm of truth seeking, you know. So we want to engage in
maybe like satsang.
Yeah, that's you know, I mean, that is a very, very important thing to revive, because people are polarizing themselves. Look at the United States. People can't even talk to each other anymore. They are Republicans, in democracy, in the same family, they have become more like enemies. Before it used to be like, that's okay, you can vote to whom you want, and then I will vote to whom I want. But now it has become a real enmity between people, you know, in the within the family, within the society too. So that is not good. Some people are encouraging that, and then these people are falling for it, and then society is paying dearly for it, you know. So this is not just only our social audio, but if you really go out into the media, Fox is one thing, CNN is one thing, and you know, they kind of present all the arguments as though they are the golden truth written in stone, you know. And they don't want to budge from that position or whatever. See, look at this abortion thing, what's going on. Major problems, major things have come for the moment. And they even are overgoing FDA. FDA approved this metoprolol, that abortion pill, but this one judge came and he said it's not legal. You know, now they got a stay from the Supreme Court, so that's good. They're going to get the medication for now. But as a doctor, I can see lots of times it will be difficult to even have a kid for a mother, and even those cases when the mother's life is threatened, they don't want to have the abortion and all that. So that's like a really to save the baby, you're killing the mother, like, you know. So it's a very terrible situation that's going on now. You know? So are you following that debate, Ivy? Abortion and all that?
No, I don't. I don't. I find social media news and all these going around, it's very distracting you from what is more meaningful in life.
That's true. I only watch this public channel news hour in the evening, and they do really talk about real issues in an impartial way, and they bring both sides, and then they don't fight to each other. Each one will wait for
it's constant fighting. Your opinion over my opinion. You're Republican, you are what the other.
This is terrible here, though. I never seen it this bad, though. I was here since 1981, right? It used to be very civilized discussion, very nice. Only a public channel, I find that. So that's why I don't watch any other channel. Actually, I don't have those channels also, because we do it everything on this Roku stream stick. So we watch only what we want to watch. Comedy shows, musicals, and then a very good news channel. Actually, I watch on the YouTube on my phone the news in the evening, 5 to 6 o'clock. They were talking about very, very important things today too. But the other channels have really become eroded by these people. You know that guy Robert Murdoch. He came from England at the time, and he brought all the what do they call them, gossip magazines. What do they call them? Tabloids, tabloids, they used to call them. And he brought that culture to Fox, and now that is the dominant channel. And most of the Americans are kind of see, those so many killings are happening around them, and they still support the gun and all that. It doesn't make sense to me. More people are getting killed here now than in Afghanistan, I believe. Can you believe that?
It's like, yeah, I saw the rating. It was like what, 300 something.
Yeah.
Shooting.
Already.
Shooting, and
yeah.
It's kind of public shooting.
Yeah.
In America since Christmas.
Yeah.
It's only April, after all.
Yeah. It is not even the third month is over, March is over, only fourth month we are here, first quarter is over. That many killings. So
yeah, it's only 4 months of the year.
It's crazy.
So many.
You can't go to a theater, you can't go to a mall, you can't go to any school.
You cannot say anything wrong. You cannot be saying anything wrong. It's too woke. Look at Dalai Lama being accused of being a pedophile.
Yeah, that was
when people are projecting this imagery.
Yeah. Yeah, holier than thou art treated, because he might have said in a different context, and these people take it out and then do that. Even if he said something, you must have apologized right away because they were offended as well, something. But this is true. What you have inside, you are able to project on other people and accuse them. Yeah. That is true too.
Yeah, it is. It's like a trauma reaction. The entire, oh my God.
If you really ask them, I
find social media is very toxic to the psyche.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah, it makes you very nervous and anxious with all these negative, very energy charged things. People take side and screaming.
Yeah. That is so true, because it's so toxic for people. They go in there to, for example, they want to learn something, or they want to. Yesterday or day before yesterday, there was one guy from India, Ivy. He's Aman. His name is. He's from Delhi. Maybe you are there in there. I don't know. He was telling me that he got contracted COVID, so he developed fever, chills, and all that. So he saw my title of the room, Calm the Mind. So he came in and said, tell me, I saw this title, I want to calm my mind. That's why I came here. And then we can just talk a little bit about ordinary things. And then he is also really knowing of awareness and what I talk usually. So we had a good talk. And then he left. So yesterday in some other room, I was there. I was just mentioning that. I said, he wanted to calm his mind, that he came to me, and then we talked about things, and then he was clear about some things, and then he was okay. Then he said, oh, you are charging him for asking you to be calm. What? So there is no basis in what he's talking about. Then somebody kicked him out of the room because he's talking like unnecessary, really no truth, and he's accusing people like that. So it's a kind of very toxic place. You can't escape that. Yeah. That's true. And it's a global gossip, this all this social media, basically,
canceling culture, and everybody have an opinion, and their opinion is entitled.
Yeah,
they should have a space and should have an opinion.
Yeah, I found it right at the beginning that everybody has to talk, whether they know it or not, as though, and they want to go from one to the other person. Even if somebody has a significant thing to offer, they don't want to go into that. Only a few rooms do that, but majority of rooms are kind of oh, I'm the moderator, so I'm going to shut off this person who is very knowledgeable, but I'm going to go to this person who is not knowledgeable, but I have to give him a chance. I have to find. So there is no meaning. It's like a people are gathering in the street around something happening in India. That is very, very common. Suppose you go there and then you start to play something, everybody comes around and watches and enjoys the music and go. Suppose you are doing some magic trick or a snake charmer, or so many things are there, right? I feel most of the social media rooms are like that. So we now know who comes and then why they're coming, what they're going to ask, what they're going to say. Those things are in India, especially when we were growing up, there are not that many cars, that many things. So people gather around something happening, like a huge comes 100, 200 people gather in the middle of the street, you know, and then anybody can talk whatever they want. That is how social audio has become. I mean, they may say, "Oh, I'm this. I'm doing this kind of mentoring, this kind of wisdom, this kind of another." But I don't find the real wisdom there. So I kind of do my thing and I share what I have to share, and then I'll go. I'm happy to talk to one person. I'm happy to talk to you rather than talking to 100 people or giving a lecture about it. This way, two-way, we can talk about it and share a conversation, and then we are well, I think, well off because of that. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know. I think escapism.
Yeah.
People come on.
Yeah. Yes.
Social media escape from.
Yes. That's exactly. That's a very good finding, because you don't want to go inward yourself. You want to find out who you are. That's why you get into this escapism of external entertainments, external audible things and all that. And people don't stop and realize, suppose somebody says something and that is an insight into some life's truth. And immediately you got to catch that and then contemplate on it, think about it, much deeper. Then insight becomes your own, and then you become really got value from the talk. But these people are casually listening, but they never change from what they are, because they feel like I'm right in every which way. Only when suffering comes, then they say, okay, I have to find out. Otherwise, people are like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like on Clubhouse, there's a few people saying they're enlightened. They know the absolute truth.
Yeah. I mean, Clubhouse has become very confusing now. All these houses and all these places where people are don't know how to find them. Right? It has become big confusion. So.
Yeah, my house disappeared. I had to go to my bio to look for it.
Yeah. And then you see, what happened to all those talks that we recorded? Are they there somewhere to download? Somebody was telling me this morning.
On the replay section, you go to the house, you click on it. All the replays is there. I don't think any of them gone.
Okay. The previous clubs club rooms are there. Even those are preserved, because I've been talking for 2 years on this.
I think so.
Yeah.
Let me have a look. Let me see how many replays. If I click on the three dots, it says listen to replay. When you click on the three dot, right? Listen to replay. Oh, no. Just the one.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Somebody was saying this all are gone, but then they can something very, very confusing for people.
Let me check mine. I think mine is gone as well. Let me have a look.
I don't mind anyway. I'm just telling you. That woman told me that she downloaded all her talks so that she can get to them whenever she wants. But that may be too late for us, because it's already too late, right? For this.
Let me have a look on my club. I couldn't even find it. It disappeared.
Yeah.
Installing so long. This is like hundreds of clouds.
Yeah. I mean, I think the way they changed it is kind of complete transformation. People are complaining they're not able to find the rooms. That was going on.
Yeah, my cloud disappeared. It's not. My house is not here.
Yeah. I think mine also is there. When I put the title, it comes up, but it is not listed in the list like before. So I have to find for it. People are not able to find the rooms because they don't know how to come there either. So they have to know the house, and then they have to go to the house. Then they will be in the audience or something. Then they can come up. So a lot of people don't have this. For me, it doesn't matter because I never cared how many people are coming or not. Only I cared what is important for me. Is it going to be good for everybody? And then let's go and share. But in the process, people came and engaged me in some deep discussion. That I like because the deeper you go in, the deeper we can enjoy each other. Without fighting, without trying to dominate each other. If we can share what we think is going to be good for other people too, they can take it or they can leave it. But the thing is, be sincere in whatever you're sharing. I think they play to the gallery here, Iris. They want to impress people and agree with whatever they say, and then later I go to other room, they will say completely opposite. So I'm tired of that. That's why I said I will do this room. Anybody comes, friendly talk, we will talk, and then later on, I'm not even attempting to go to a lot of rooms because it has become more. Hi, Sanya, welcome.
Hi, Dr. Ram.
Yeah. You know Ivy, right, Sanya? I think Sanya.
I met her last time. I think, I don't know, a week ago, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, Sanya is doing these new paintings on the artificial intelligence. That's why she looks.
I've been playing around with pictures.
I think real Sanya before the photograph was very nice, smiley, friendly, and all. Now they look like a spy. So the spy movie look like a spy, Sanya. It look nice, but it's still spy-like.
Yeah, looks kind of cool, but I'm still here. I just like different exploration of different techniques.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, there are so many ways we can create this pictorial and all that. What was that? Yeah, I got to 3 or 4 of them I played with, but I was shown to me by my friend in LinkedIn, and he is big on this artificial intelligence. So he was making portraits of different things and then selling them as real paintings.
Yeah.
He told me that.
Yeah. It's so awesome. I mean, things that took forever now it's like done in seconds, right? Yeah.
Was it 11 laps, Sonia? 11 laps, I think.
Yeah. I'm for 11 lap. Is that the voice?
Mm-hmm.
I think. Yeah. So 11 laps, and then you have the DID.com too.
Yeah. So. Yes, that's also true. But you know what? There should be so many apps. It's overwhelming, Then I said, what am I doing? I can do all those apps, so I kind of.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, they say, oh, this is so good. That is so good. This is do it. And then you're going crazy with 20, 30 apps at the same time.
Yeah, it does review, right? I suspect it's all fake, right?
Yeah.
So you go to Google, you Google recommendations of the 10 best, let's say, ChatGPT. They will give you a list of it. You try them, you trust the recommendations.
Yeah.
And you still find out they're incompetent.
I know there is a trend though. What you are looking at is
so many.
Yeah. No, there is a trend, Ivy. What is going to happen is they're going to consolidate these apps into the mainstream apps. Like, for example, consultant, assistant in the Microsoft, and that is pretty good. Bing is also current compared to ChatGPT. So more integration is happening. For example, Notion has a component too. That is pretty good also. So they are going to consolidate this ChatGPT into almost everything. So you will be using that feature if you wish to use it. Those apps. So what I would suggest is do apps that are relevant to your work for now, and then don't play with all the things. It's like different car models you are playing, like, drive your car, and then and then when they integrate everything, bring them in into everything. I think that's the same approach for at least for me. That is so I don't want to go to 20, 30 apps and then put an account and free then pay. I ended up paying so many apps unnecessary.
Yes, gee, as well.
Yeah.
So unnecessary. And then I have to request some of it, because it's so expensive. Sonia,
Yeah.
$69.99.
Ah, yeah. So,
I don't know. And they slap you with 1 year subscriptions money. I was like, what?
Yeah. I
In
mean,
a day, right?
Yeah.
You can just literally,
what really improved is the Canva. Canva is really
fraud.
The Canva improved a lot of things integrated into it. Canva has this artificial intelligence component too. So
yeah, I haven't used the AI feature on Canva just yet.
Very good, Tanzania. Really good.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
I have to look at the videos for that one.
I have canceled 3 or 4 apps because Canva is integrating everything in there.
Yeah, I do use Notion. So, and of course now with managing the social media account, and I have to use. I'm not doing Instagram and Facebook as much on social media stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think they're trying to encourage that because of the metaverse and stuff like that. I haven't delved into that side of things just yet, but just too many things.
Too many things going on. Yeah. One side artificial intelligence, other side is meta artificial reality. That's AR, VR, right? Virtual reality. And then you have the robotics, And
you have Elon now getting involved in the AI. He's always been involved, but a little more pronounced now with all the the controls, right?
Yeah, he's really going into the robotics too, I think. They were saying
he wanted to be open. Like, it was interesting what us as human come up with, right? The things that we are programming what GPT to do, right? Yeah. And that can be dangerous, in this sense, right?
Yeah.
Because in the hands of the tools is only as good as the person who use it, right? And
look at that guy, 21 years.
Good for the intention.
No, it has security. I try to ask questions, specific type of questions that is against the law. It will not fetch it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. I mean, these, you're talking about programming, right? So you have all those hackers that are really good around the world, and so it is kind of in that sense, it's ruthless, right?
Yeah. Look at that kid, the 21-year-old kid.
It's us with the learning stuff.
Yes.
Right? It's all those other people.
Sanya, did you hear that story? 21-year-old in the defense industry. He kind of leaked all the, very security information between Ukraine and, all the supply, and a lot of people were put in danger. And there's a major embarrassment and all that, because he didn't have to do much. He put in Discord. And Discord reported all that to them, and they gave him exactly who put that there, And he thought only few people will see in the Discord. But then some other guy took from Discord and distributed to every channel, all the social media. That's how it came out, So it's pretty. This is always like that. You say when the
it is.
Yeah.
But now that we accelerated, in terms of the technology, right? the fear with everyone is that when it's now becoming way more in terms of intelligence, right? But
what really appealed to me, the line that they said when it is being used, if you want to enhance your cognition and capacity and all that, if you already have some things that you want to enhance, this is good. But if you are expecting that to provide answers to your problems, and that's where you can be lazy and then use your own edge, about solving problems and all that. So I look at like this: is a tool that can enhance whatever I am doing. Suppose if I'm writing a good thought, it can,
agree because,
it can, it can do
fantastic. When I need to do a lot of research, it takes a lot of time, 10 hours, a lot of hours to research and read on it.
Yeah.
So if using ChatGPT, right, it will help you summarize the article. It will help you summarize the important implications of each paper, and it will outline what is the model is about, rather than you going through it, reading it yourself.
There is a question of authenticity, Ivy. It produces a lot of material. I wonder people study that and then scrutinize and edit it and make corrections if it is not right, and then produce it.
I find that the more you feed with information, you keep feeding it and giving more information to the ChatGPT. In the whole page of the chart, if you continue in the same chart, it keeps feeding information. If, let's say, I'm interviewing somebody, right? This interview person, instead of me go and search it for myself, I will go to Google. I will collect a lot of websites about this person, and his web pages, and I will feed it to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT would summarize the important, who is the background, where they go educations, what is their research, what are they advocating. Every information, it will summarize it. If you feed it correctly, so basically it needs to be trained. Once you train it with the correct way of catching information,
I always had a question like this.
It's easy to cut short the hours to work.
I
find it helps me that way.
I had always had this question. Whenever we did the interviews, we did all of that, people refer to who you were in the past. Okay, you did that, you did this and all. But this particular person may have changed and learned some skills and everything now, and he's much better. So I always told the interviewers, know me now, how I am, what I can do, what is your job. Do I have the qualities? Do I have the capacity to do it? Look at that. But don't look at, read my paper resume from the past and then make a decision on that. But how many people make decisions on looking at the paper and do that? Other two, if you can, even if it is posts and everything that people are doing now, it's like how nicely you will put together, how cleverly you will disguise everything and present only the virtual reality about yourself rather than real.
But you see, if we are in this technology advancement, information is freely available, right?
And
they're all new data. Every week you get new data updates, right?
Sanya,
So if you are interviewing somebody, you don't use the credential. People are very prejudiced.
Yes.
Quite oftentimes people look for who's this guy? What is the credential? Even though the implications of their work have a lot of application in our society on technology and education, people still look for this. It's like last few days, you remember I came to the room, was telling you the story. I was shocked, Dr. Rao. The room purposes reading a paper.
You told me,
right? And these people from Clubhouse will go on the stage because they have a PhD in something or science department or scientist or something.
Yeah.
They make themselves the expert of everything there. So when you're reading a paper, they keep challenging you. The paper cannot be finished. We're wasting time debating intellectually. It's just very wasteful of time. Yeah. That's the energy you want to get caught into, because it's one-upmanship who is better. There was I attended somebody, her name is Amy, I forgot what the last name is. They were presenting about the prompt, and I was there in that IT summit. She was striving very hard for her to come out as authentic. Whatever prompt she generated, whatever it has generated, it has to have your prompt. And she even said heartful way. I thought that was very good point, because these people are regaling on the different varieties of information spits out, but no context and no real relevance with what it is going on. But just because it produces enormous amount of printed material doesn't mean all of them is accurate. Maybe most of it is accurate, but then they don't. You need to feed accurate information. Train it first. Then you got to prompt accurately with the keywords. If you prompt wrongly, it will pull you a completely different one.
Yeah. Yes. Even few words in a same prompt, I kind of change a few words. I found them completely different answers. Yeah, sure. That's why this is a tool. Use it with caution. Use it with discretion. Use it with some kind of suspicion a little bit, and then read it, edit it, and make sure that it all agrees with what you really understand as the right thing. Otherwise, I think people are not having the time. They just are happy. Oh, I wrote a post on the LinkedIn, but I used AI. I produced a wonderful post. Not all of them. There's some material they don't even read them. So then it becomes a problem. Like I wrote my
I do find one thing lack about the writing is very mechanistic. It lack of emotion.
Obviously.
You can tell a machine wrote it.
Obviously it is. But there is a measurement of how human it looks like. There are programs to make sure that it is so. There are prompts that they made to make it appear like a human wrote it. There's a percentage they give you, is a 98% human-like, or 60% or 40% like that. My friend Darrell's program, it does that. It gives you the after certain number of, I think 2,500 words or something. After that, it will go through the entire output and then says this is 70% human-like or 90% like that. So you can be reasonably okay. Even then, it produces so much material. I don't think we should regale only by looking at the quantity of the output rather than what is the quality, what is the accuracy. I think that is going to come out more often.
You see, I tested quite a lot, right?
Yeah.
I find the European one, the information are more quality and more intelligent than the Asia and American one.
I see. I didn't see that kind of different editions. Are there?
Yeah, I see who the developer is. I can see where they're from.
Okay.
Who developed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where is the developer listed though? Where is he?
You go into the app where you download it on the app. I use quite a few on the phone.
Okay.
I changed to the desktop one.
Okay.
Yeah, on the app, it will tell you who developed it, where is it developed from. They all have been licensed. Because the money is collected by the Apple company, right? Refund is by the Apple company as well. So, monthly charge is charged by the Apple bill. Yeah.
I mean, they're charging a lot of money.
Sorry, Sonia, I think we are boring you. with ChatGPT.
No, she is into that too. No problem. Right, Sonia? You're using them too.
Sorry. Yeah.
I think you are using artificial intelligence, aren't you?
Yes, I use it. Yeah, very much so. I enjoyed it. I just want to, you know. The thing is, it reminds me, of our makeup as well, right? Because if you're looking at it, the people who design it are us, right? In many ways, right? And if you look at the mind memory and all of these things, right? If the way we kind of program ourselves, and it's kind of like that parallel thing that we're doing.
See, there are certain things I see that are pretty good, Sanya. What it is remotest villages, remotest places where they don't have much of availability of practical knowledge, they are getting this much easier now. That's one thing. People are learning, people are kind of solving a lot of practical problems, like the farmers, like the people really remote, they are getting a lot of use of this, I think, I was watching this Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, and he was bringing forth a lot of office work is done with integration of the AI assistant or something like that, and that they are very practical, very nice tools though. So there are mixed bag, but basically we are not going to go back. This is going to go and take over a lot of knowledge management. I am happy with one thing though. It makes me save a lot of time. Otherwise, I would be writing down and sitting on all that, right? And now a lot of drudgery work is taken off. All I have to do is just read, edit, and make sure it's accurate. And then that leaves me a lot of time for me just to sit in my uh, dhyana, that is just sitting down, contemplation and meditation, and then that is very pleasing to me. So I'm really helped by AI that way, releasing me from all these mundane things.
Yeah, totally. This is like what we've seen it in the beginning as to help us, right? But at the same time, now as it gets even smarter than human being and can develop something that's proper for us, right? In terms of evolution and stuff like that, right? It's gonna be interesting for sure.
The problem is, I look at nuclear power to make electricity. I will never think of making a bomb. But there will be somebody who thinks of only making a bomb, not the electricity. That is the problem with these powers. Not everybody is going. Not everybody is going to be responsible or good citizens. That's why the dangers are lurking around. They're aware of it, and they have employed several hundreds of thousands of these people, and they were checking it everything out. And the chat GPT 4 and it came, they were talking about this, how they worried about this, how they are kind of making the really respond only these kind of things, not to harmful things are out there. So they were really putting their minds and efforts into that, and they spent billions of dollars on that, I believe, ChatGPT especially, with Microsoft and all that. So that is there, but still, so you can spend so much money, but this North Korea is making bombs, so that they want to threaten everybody with that. So yeah, and there's a powerful thing is produced. There are people who abuse, and there are people who use it properly. But this power is so much; it's kind of scary to see what they can do with this. Bad things.
Yeah, like there's so many like in terms, but then there's always like the opposites, right?
That's why you have to calm your mind, Sanya. Coming to my room and calm your mind if something like that bothers you.
Yeah, it's not for me. It doesn't bother.
I know. I'm just joking with you. I'm just joking with you. Yeah. No, generally, I'm joking with everybody also. You come to my room, if your mind is agitated because of these scary thoughts, then calm your mind. I'm just trying to be, just pull your leg. That's usually something may happen that will be really too much probably with this kind of power, but it can also do a lot of good things. Like I said, people who never understood anything, they will understand a lot more with this, especially the kids, and that will lead probably good things down the line, for example, I was spending a lot of time to understand very um, profound spiritual truth, right? And it takes a lot of investigation, lot of contemplation, and then you may have one insight, and then it will stay with you. Okay, but this one, when you put a question, it comes to the insight right away. That is really remarkable. I was very impressed with that. For example, I was writing this meditation book, right? Then I wanted a question. I did not put everything in there, but I wanted a question answered. So I put, does it know what is Manulaya, what is Manunasha? Those are Sanskrit terms of two different kind of meditations. One is
yeah, I find that helpful.
Yeah.
The machine knows Sanskrit.
No, not only that, it knows Sanskrit, and also it has evaluated. No, it has evaluated thousands of books and comes into the answer in a second. That is impressive. Yeah. That is impressive, really. So and then not only that, not just putting the volume of information, the insight that impressed me, really, because a lot of human beings I talk to, they don't get the insight. They just want only what appeals to them, what they can understand, but they don't want to step beyond it. But this one really showed that.
Yeah, and we were talking about imagination, right?
Yeah.
Does the artificial intelligence and have imaginations, right? But
I don't know.
Looking at it, it can like assemble so many stuff, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it has imagination, Sanya. I think it has going over so many millions of pieces of information and putting it in an understandable way very quickly. That's its power, So I don't think it's projecting something into future. Even some questions when I ask, for example, there was this news about Nobel laureate in physics in 2022, right? And he was talking about that Vedanta philosophy I talk about. He was talking about that. Both are the same thing they were talking about. So I was very interested to read that, and so I put that. Who is the Nobel laureate? They said, "Oh, don't know in the future what is happening. I only know up to 2021." It gave me that answer. So it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't really project or imagine. It kind of puts things very quickly. And what is impressive is it's not that enormous amount because of the computing power it is doing that. That's fine, but putting them all together in a coherent fashion, that is very impressive.
Yeah, it's all of those, right? Because if you what is imagination, right? If we can program or prompt it in such a way that it can give you those kind of things, and of course, being the auto and the baby AGI is coming up next, where it'll have to do its own thing to be able to.
Yeah.
So the evolutions of that is actually, it comes like I'm drawing parallel between us and, of course, because if we are like, let's say, our memories are our software kind of thing, right? And our imaginations are our predictive capability, right? Pretty much, or in that sense, right? Can that kind of
it has also this deep learning, machine learning, right? So what it is doing is, from the 3 months ago, what mistakes he produced, he is not producing again. Already learning. That is a scary part too. So another 1 year, it will learn more.
It'll do what we can too, and beyond that as well, because if you look at it, right, the way we imagine things is based on the stuff that we have already retained, right? And in terms of imagination, right?
Memory,
based on a lot of us is from the past, right? That we create, and so it's like a recycle memory, right? The thing that we're projecting into the future. So if that's the case, AI have no problem.
Easy. Memory is the past, that's good. But then true imagination is not coming from the memory. It is something that you kind of produce from your own inner workings and all that. Whether that will be able to do it by itself is a doubtful thing. That's what they were afraid of.
Yeah, I think we have come to the end of our imagination because our imagination is the idea, the dream. There's no more dreams to be dream anymore.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's interesting because if it has all these knowledge all around the world, let's say, and as we learn and what we say as create, but then if creation is already done, then everything is just about assembling and things to make it different, right? And if we haven't seen before on this human race, and if machines have that capability to do all of these things and think about different models more than us, then this is kind of like
different versions.
Makeup, right?
Yeah, different versions. The next version will be much more smart than this one, probably. Right? Different versions, Sanya. Version 1.
Like, look at how fast it's going. Within 4 months, and in the next 4 months, it's going to be unrecognizable. The agents coming out and the baby stuff is coming out, and those are everything. You're right, will be integrated eventually into the one, right? And the only thing, the concern is in whose hands is this going to be, right? And because with us is always first military on any technology that we do, and so. It's kind of interesting how it's going to proceed, But of course,
and let me pose a question here, Sanya. The question is, what is real calming down? Is calming the raking up of the memory and also actively imagining something, but staying here in this moment without that current or this current. Make sense? Then what happens is you are looking at something with pure perception. And the people who are quite like that, they have these insights into like earth is round, gravity, fundamental like nuclear physics that's going on. Einstein's theory of relativity, all those things, those are all completely beyond existing memory, existing imagination, because people didn't know this before that, And then once they discovered it, then everybody was able to figure it out. So generally, people are caught in the memory, and that has its own waves. And then for example, they give this example in yoga. There's a lake, right? And the lake is really, if you throw a stone on it, it will form so many waves, and then the waves go and reach the shore, right? But then, even if you don't do something like that, no wind, nothing, then there is some waves forming. How do they form? Because as memory, there are so many stones in the lake bottom, and then they are one over other, and the fish or something goes around and then disturbs those rock formation, and they move and they produce the waves in the water. Like that, if you have accumulated memory and you have this active imagination going on, you are never in the what is going on. Right? And so you are always in those movements, and having calmness from those movements is itself is a very, very big virtue. And also your natural innate intellectual other powers, they come up when it is very calm, because you don't have the restlessness of those movement of the rocks in the bottom, or somebody throwing in a stone in you, or water itself is trying to get out of it because it has become too much from the rain and all that. Okay, they compared this very well with the mind, and that is relevant too. So check yourself. And I see something, do I see, this is what I'm talking about, where they evaluate the resume, they evaluate what happened in the past and then punish people. Suppose somebody was in the war and he comes out, and then because he was the war, he killed all those people, they punish him now, but then they program him to send in, that is different. So it's a question of understanding where our waves of disturbance coming in the mind, and then really paying attention to what is happening us without the memory, without the imagination, here and now. And that is pure perception, because it is coming straight from who you are, what you are, not what was given to you in the past or what you are supposed to be thinking about it. So the thinking faculty is completely silent. And that happens when you understand all these things. Suppose I teach you about meditation one day and you are contemplating on it. So the next day you go, you have a different kind of experience, because you have this hidden past tendencies and memories, and also projecting into the future. If you have that, then you're already always caught in the movement of thought and the mind. You are never having the real peace. Whereas if you understand this, then even in the among the life, you will have peace. Make sense, Sanya?
Yes, I totally,
that's why I say
from that point of view, right? I understand there is a dimension of perception that not a lot of us have access to yet. How to access it?
Yeah, we kind of overwhelmed by the thought operating as a memory or imagination. And that's why I say, do this exercise I was telling you to calm your mind in the morning and at the night at the end, because that's when the nervous system changes from sleep to awakeness in the morning, from awakeness to sleep in the evening. And that twilight zone, if you get caught and then go into or go into the next phase, either sleeping or awakening, then your mind will be more stable. So especially when you are presenting something like a very complicated situation, that's when your mind won't be going all over the place. That is a problem. Once it starts going, then people don't know how to stop it. They get indulged and then they get much worse in that. And the more you repeat that, the more it becomes a problem to you down the line.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a constant practice every day. Like what we're talking about, those people who are listening on the wisdom have not heard what the exercise I'm talking about. Is about going to the same place at the same time every day, and a place where there are no disturbances or nothing you take with you, and then take a chair, sit down with the feet on the floor, and keep your spine erect, and then close your mouth and take deep breaths through the mouth so that abdominal wall comes up, and then as you breathe out, abdominal wall goes to the spine. That you do. We prefer at least 8 times, at least 5 times each circle you do. Initially, you just do just to open up the airways. The next 5, you kind of tie your mind to the sensation of air on the tip of the nose as it comes out and goes out. And then the last thing, then you concentrate the attitude. I am having thoughts. That means I am somebody different than this body and mind. Keep the sensation going every day. You are well served by your thought and well served by your body, because they are under your control. They are not going all over. So there's a lot deeper meaning in that. But just do it every day, and later on you will be ready to really observe the deeper truth of it by yourself, because that is the fact. This is hidden by the um, ego, personality, and all that. This body sensation also, body consciousness also, is kind of is not the permanent thing. What you are as awareness, That is the permanent thing. And as the body and mind, they perish, right? So people, the death and all that also make a lot of change when you understand that you are the awareness behind the thought and body complex. So pretty deep what I say, but then people may not have to grasp it right away. First, daily do it, especially twilight zones, dawn and dusk. Then you can really get a hold of that real perceptive attitude, real awareness all the time, and then you will be like I was talking about in that blissful state all the time. Not only when everything is going your way, but even the things are not going your way, you can be stable, and then with that stability, you perform, you function better too. Okay.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you if there's like in terms of timing, by the time let's say by end of the day it's usually around the midnight.
Yeah.
But in terms of meditation, is that I've heard that it's a little bit
Yeah.
of a
This is
not the
a
time to
this
do
is a
that.
modern phenomenon. What it is it used to be we are physically more active because we have to do physical labor, right, as human beings, and that is kind of shifted to mental work also nowadays, right? And that's why people don't really establish that much of physical needing as is needed. That's why in the evening you don't get tired and you can go on mental activity till midnight, and that by definition changes your diurnal biological rhythm, and that is
Yeah.
not good. He says that's why go to bed early, get up early and do more work. Like I go to bed early, maybe 10 o'clock, and get up maybe 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, like that. Then you have more time in the morning. They're too fresh, right? So you can take all the complex problems and do them after initial establishing yourself. Then that becomes very good. This is a modern phenomena that has led to this. When you travel sickness, and then when you have headaches, when you have this irritations, and all these angers and all those things is played out, and also lack of sleep, insomnia, because your cycle is disturbed. That is very, very valuable thing for us to, what, longevity of organs is related to taking it easy and taking it calm, and then take it nice and easy for the sleep before, right? And also your molecular biology improves if you sleep well. You know, all the diabetics, they know that if they don't feel they sleep well, they don't have good energy later, because it is affecting at the molecular biology level, metabolic level. So there is a science there too. We understand. So one of the things I think moderns conveniently ignore is this biurnal rhythms, Sadia. If you can maintain those biurnal rhythms, to give them the due respect, then you will be completely different. Okay? Remember, you kind of a lot of people do this. They kind of think I can wake up as much as I want. I will go to sleep very late, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. But then they wake up, maybe they may be foggy, or they may be really drowsy and all that, right? Then what they do, they take a cup of coffee. That's exactly what you're not supposed to do. Then what happens is your system gets used to the chemical which is extraneous to your metabolism is put in there. So that affects your metabolism too. And also it affects your gastric acid secretion, and that goes down. So your natural hunger goes down. So just to eat when you're really hungry is very difficult for people to do. They think that's something, a ritual, something they have to do it because that is so it's a waste of time. No, you got to give complete importance to that and sit down and be focused on the food, savoring the food and eating it like that, very slowly chewing. But a lot of people neglect these biological rhythms that we have at their own peril.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am learning to in many ways respect. Yeah.
Yeah. That is natural. It's natural, and then the moment we know it, they become as real vital energy. So that's why all these asanas and pranayama and all these exercises are geared to better metabolic health. Okay, molecular metabolic health. At the level of the molecule, your metabolism in the cells improves because of this very simple principle. As you stretch your muscle, there is a demand for the oxygen, and that oxygen is really coming through the better breathing through pranayama in the lungs, right? So your blood is generally better oxygenated because of that, and because these things go into the far corners. For example, we're standing with our tadasana, we put our hands stretching to the side, right? And the more you stretch your skin, like, the more you have the effort. You don't have to do much effort, but you are just bringing in the demand of the oxygen for that. And then, because you oxygenate very well by breathing well, you get more oxygen to the periphery of your tissues, which is very, very important. You know, on the other hand, what do the moderns do? They just take some medication. Otherwise, they are not moving. They stay in the chair and stay there like that. And then those people will not have these rhythms in there. They are gone because nurse will bring him food when she has the time, and nobody has the sensation. No wonder so much of chronic disease in the modern life, and so much of fatigue, so much of bad energy, and then so much of addiction to drink something to make feel as good. A lot of people cannot function unless they take a cup of coffee in the night, in the morning. If your cycles are working well, biological cycles, then when you get up in the morning, you should have your peak energy. That's a test. You can see whether you have slept well or whether you're breathing well and whether you're exposed to pollutants or not. All that is evident in your energy in the morning when you get up.
I'm learning to, in terms of cycle,
be
like
observant.
you said, in terms of getting to know your body too.
Yeah.
And listen to it, you said, right? And I'm like, okay, let's think about that, right?
That's it. That's it.
That mean, right?
No, you just have to be aware of your body, your energy, the tensions, and all that. That itself have the water. That's what there, right? Once you done the adhyaya, which is study of your own body, and you're aware of what's going on, you can do. For example, you are sitting in a way that is not good, and then you have strain on the left side or right side. Then you just change the feet position, and then you turn, and then you extend your spine. That simple spasm will go away. But most of the people are not aware at that level. They are involved in talk or involved in thinking, involved in doing something, but they're not aware of their own body, where it is, or what is happening with their own inward things and all that. Because most of the inward things we are not aware, right? But the yogis, they are aware of their temperature, blood pressure, pulse, and all that. They can slow it down or improve it down. That's how they produce this biofeedback system. That came from that experiments with the yogis on that.
Yeah, I've been reading up on, of course, the practice for like you chew each bite 24 times until it's paced, and of course, when before you eat, you give that 2 minutes before, like to be conscious of everything before you take in, and then that kind of also helps you with the hunger, right?
A number of times you have to.
It's less compulsive. The thing that you just stuff it down your throat. And,
very good. That's very true, because if you gulp it down, it won't have all that. So if you really aware of what you're doing, you control a lot of secretion of hormones in the gut also without you knowing, because the triggers happen after the oral mastication is done. Then the secretions in the stomach, they trigger, right? They will come because they have to be ready for what is coming to them from the mouth. So that's why spending a lot of time in the mouth is very good for your digestion.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much wisdom in the ancient times, Sanya. I kind of surprise myself every time I go into those kind of things. And then this was something I heard from a lot of people. I know everything about my body, that's why I'm healthy. There's a lot of truth in that. Not being obsessive, but being silently aware of what's going on. For example, you are developing knee pain. A lot of people they find knee pain later when the damage cartilage or bones or whatever happened, right? Ligaments and all that. But then real alert people like an athlete or somebody, they notice that right away, and then they come to the doctor right away because they are aware of what is going on with the body. Some people neglect and then go on staining the same way, and that results in permanent damage. But to nip it in the bud, that's what I say. But that should be daily practice. Suppose you are working right tomorrow, and you go and sit in a chair. After a while, your back is hurting, you know, then immediately you should get up and walk a little bit, go 3 or 4 steps that way, and come back and sit down. That reverses that sensation, and also the damage otherwise would happen. People usually bear with it and they don't pay attention to it, and then that becomes a habit, that becomes a problem down the line.
Yeah, I really, when I had the back problem and you showed me all these exercises, right?
Yeah.
And it's not so much about the bed itself. I mean, I still wake up,
yeah.
Sometimes still my back aches. And so when we go through that exercise again, and I do this because like every day now for the things that we practice, right?
Yeah.
And so I know which one to like, what moves kind of, kind of triggers certain like the muscles to help it, right?
Yeah.
So kind of like pay attention to the body and what parts, right?
Yeah.
To what kind of like asanas and stuff like that.
You remember, Sanya?
Like it's not pain anymore, right? Which is like this is one of the fascinating things that I use. I use it now because it doesn't matter what day or how I came up on how I wake up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like curving it according to like how it fits me and how it fits my body.
Yeah.
And the things that I am doing throughout the day, right? A consciousness that is noted to, treat.
I will give you one
body with
I will give you one tip now, Sanya, that you can practice in the chair. Okay? Now you're sitting in the chair, right? Keep your spine straight always, right? Keep the feet planted. Now, as you breathe out, suck the abdomen towards the spine and hold it for a couple of seconds or a few seconds. And then take the deep breath in and release the abdomen wall. Like that, do 3 or 4 times in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. What happens is those muscles learn to contract, and that becomes their muscle memory. Okay, and then you can do the general, strengthening of the abdomen or back and all this. I showed you, that's fine. But then this is something people don't realize very important through the day. You see, it used to be people walked. That means they are erect, and that means they are climbing, they are reaching out things and all that. So that was very good. But these days, walking has gone down progressively without people knowing it, right? And that's why these kind of works are, you can do chair Surya Namaskaras. That also helps this abdomen wall to get tightened. Try them, okay?
Yeah, one of the moves, the motions that you showed me is how we breathe in and out with the stomach, right?
Yeah.
And to kind of like massage our internal organs, right?
Yeah.
And I
those are real.
For me, I didn't realize how that helps.
That helps a lot.
Like it becomes a regular practice for me, right?
I was telling you about those 3, the Kapalabhati, Agnisara, and Tribandhas. Those 3 exercises, they really massage the organs inwardly, and that is the benefit of yoga. It is not just about locomotor or musculoskeletal, but it is about this organ massage that happens with the different organs, exercises that we really have to. For example, when we sit down on the floor and with both legs crossed, then you raise both hands and come down and touch the floor. That is very good for the pancreas. Like that is I mean, there is a yoga therapy for individual diseases, then they talk about this. It's not like a serious massage. It kind of happens that way the blood supply of those organs increases, and that also lack of fat accumulation too. So many other things are there, but basically that touching the organs and then pushing them down and all that is like a kind of massage. And that is why lot of yogis are metabolically very sound and they live longer, and most of the moderns kind of happily ignorant of these things. That's why they don't take advantage of these kind of exercises. Very simple. We don't use any medication, we don't do any exercise, we just do things with our own body, and that's too very nicely relaxed. See, when I do with you, you don't feel that strain, right? We go very smoothly, regularly, right? So that's why I don't feel like I'm doing yoga at the time or doing sort of exercise. But then at the same time, I get plenty of benefit because of that.
Yeah, I do realize the energy after I do it, right? Because, and then of course, can you tell me about the locks? Why the locks?
Locks are there is a pattern of energy in the body, right? And certain locks kind of arrest the flow of energy and places them in certain direction. And then suppose you are having some problem of diabetes in the pancreas problem, the locks were supposed to be kind of encouraging that energy to be moving around properly, staying there now. It's a complex mechanism. It is not like a objective thing. It's like a uh, suppose your energy is there. Can you show energy for somebody? No, you subjectively feel that I'm energetic, I'm not energetic, all that. Like that, these energy patterns are in Chinese medicine also meridians. Here they call it nadis. That's a something not like our reductionist medicine where everything has to be shown to the naked eye, microscope or electron microscope and all that. But that one, the movement and all of that is within the body is like, for example, suppose you eat something, your bowel has this peristalsis, that means movement of the bowel, right? But that happens by itself. So where does it get the energy? So understanding all of that results in understanding which lock is better for what. That's why we don't teach everybody, because you have to understand it. Okay, just being curious is not enough. You got to have a perceptive about it by your own. Otherwise, locks can harm so what I was making you do yoga is very, very light yoga, Sanya. Okay, so the locks and bandhas, these are serious yoga practices. So you got to be knowledgeable about them, and then you have to spend a lot of time before you can perfect them.
Yeah.
Mysterious. They're mysterious.
Some people, I mean, I've been shown in the past on the locks, but never really explained on.
Yeah. You have to understand deeper to get the benefit properly, because that means, like, for example, suppose you are given a metal, right? And the metal is like a 15 pounds, but you have only strength to carry only 5 pounds. Then what happens? You either drop it, or if you do it, you will hurt your muscle. Like that. These bandhas and locks, bandhas basically locks name, they are pretty powerful. So if you understand properly and do them, you get the benefit. But then for that, you have to undergo a lot of transformation before you attempt them. So modern people are really not eligible for them, because they live a lifestyle that doesn't help them with the locks. Okay, don't try it unless there will be a stage when you feel there naturally you can do that, but up until the time, just theory is not enough. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I think we went over half an hour, I think. Okay.
Yeah.
But
good chat, though. Good
yeah.
to, of course,
yeah.
review it with you too. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Shenanigan. Easy, right stuff. You know.